Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the All-Merciful, the All-Compassionate. Fatima az-Zahra, the daughter of the Prophet, peace be on them, is to have thus related an event. My father, the Prophet of Allah, came to my house one day and said to me, "Peace be on you, Fatima." I replied, and upon you be peace. Then he said, "I feel weakness in my body." I said, "Allah protects you from weakness, father." He said, "Fatima, please bring the Yemeni cloak and cover me with it." So I brought the Yemeni cloak and covered him with it. Then I looked at him and saw that his face was shining like a full moon with its glory and splendor.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad.
After a while, my son Hassan came in and said, "Peace be on you, mother." I replied, "And upon you peace." O light of my eyes and the delight of my heart. He then said, "Mother, I smell a fragrance so sweet and so pure as that of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, your grandfather is lying underneath the cloak." Hassan went near the cloak and said, "Peace be on you, my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my son and the master of my fountain. Go there. You are given the permission to enter." So Hassan entered the cloak with him. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. After a while, my son Hussein came in and said, "Peace be on you, mother." I replied, "And upon you peace, O light of my eyes and the delight of my heart." He then said, "Mother, I smell a sweet fragrance like that of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, your grandfather and your brother are lying underneath the cloak." Hussein stepped towards the cloak and said, "Peace be on you, my grandfather, the chosen of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my son and the interceder of my followers. You are given the permission to enter." So Hussein entered the cloak with them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. After a while, Abul Hasan Ali bin Abi Talib came in and said, "Peace be on you, O daughter of the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "And upon you peace, O father of Hassan and the commander of the faithful." He then said, "Fatima, I smell a sweet fragrance like that of my brother, my cousin, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, he is underneath the cloak with your two sons." So Ali went near the cloak and said, "Peace be on you, Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my brother, my legatee, my successor, and my standard bearer. You are given the permission to enter." So Ali entered the cloak with them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Then I stepped forward and said, "Peace be on you, my father, O Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my daughter, O part of myself. You are given the permission to enter." So I entered the cloak with them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Getting together underneath the cloak, my father, the Prophet of Allah, held the two ends of the cloak and raised his right hand towards the heavens and prayed, "O Allah, these are the people of my household, Ahlulbayt. They are my confidants and my supporters. Their flesh is my flesh, and their blood is my blood. Whoever hurts them hurts me too. Whoever displeases them displeased me too. I am at war with those at war with them. I am at peace with those at peace with them. I am the enemy of their enemies, and I am the friend of their friends. They are from me, and I am from them. O Allah, bestow your blessings, benevolence, forgiveness, and your pleasure upon me and upon them, and remove impurity from them, and keep them thoroughly pure." Then the Lord Almighty Allah said, "O my angels, O residents of my heavens, verily I have not created the erected sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships, but for the love of these five lying underneath the cloak. Jibreel, the trusted angel, asked, "Who are under the cloak?" The Almighty answered, "They are the household of the Prophet and the assets of prophethood. They are Fatima, her father, her husband, and her 2 sons." Allahumma salli ala Jibreel said, "O Lord, may I fly to earth to be the 6th of them?" Allah replied, "Yes, you are given the permission." Jibreel, the trusted, landed near them and said, "Peace be on you, O Prophet of Allah. The All-Highest conveys his peace on you and his greetings and says, By my honor and glory, O my angels, O residents of my heavens, verily I have not created the erected sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships, but for your sake and love. God has given me permission to enter the cloak with you. May I join you, O Prophet of Allah?" The Prophet replied, "And peace be on you, O trusted bearer of Allah's revelations. You are granted the permission." So Jibreel entered the cloak with us and said to my father, "Allah sends his revelations to you. Verily, Allah's desire is to remove blemish from you, O people of household, and purify you with the perfect purification." Then Ali said to my father, "O Prophet of Allah, tell me, what significance has Allah given for getting together underneath this cloak?" The Prophet replied, "By him who rightfully appointed me a prophet and chose me a messenger for the salvation of the mankind. Whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, Allah will bestow on them his blessings and mercy. Angels will encircle them, asking Allah the remission of their sins until the assembly disperse." So Ali said, "Verily by the Lord of Kaaba, we and our followers are the winners." Then my father replied, "By him who rightfully appointed me a prophet and chose me a messenger for the salvation of the mankind. Whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, there shall remain none grieved, but Allah will remove his grief. There shall remain none distressed, but Allah will dispel his distress. There shall remain none wish seeker, but Allah will grant his wish." Ali happily said, "Verily by the Lord of Kaaba, we and our followers are the winners and the blessed in this world and the next."
Thank you, Brother Hassan Ali, for your recitation of the Sikh. Let's have one more loud salawat for Hassan. Allahumma salli ala. Next, I would like to invite forward Brother Muhammad Ibrahim to recite a salam. Let's have a loud salawat. Allah.
صلوات. إلي سكينة إلي بني إلي سكينة إلي بني. Running through the desert, she heard her father say, "My daughter, my dear, let me show you my way. The night is dark, my love, I don't want you to stray. إلي سكينة إلي بني إلي سكينة إلي بني. Why are your ears bleeding? Why is your dress burnt? I see your cheeks are blue now, I have you pale turned. My arms are lying open, and them please return. Ilayya, Ilayya, Sakina. Ilayya, Ilayya, Bonayya. Ilayya, Ilayya, Sakina. Ilayya, Ilayya, Bonayya. Let me caress your cheeks, let me caress your ears. Come, I'll put you to sleep, your Baba is here. Sakina, my love, let me rid you of your fears. Ilayya, Ilayya, Sakina. Ilayya, Ilayya, Bonayya. Ilayya, Ilayya, Sakina. Ilayya, Ilayya, Bonayya. Now that you're sleeping on my chest, I'll sing a lullaby. There is a little princess who'll in a present die. She'll then be with her Baba, to heaven they shall fly. Ilayya, Ilayya, Sakina. Ilayya, Ilayya, Bonayya. Ilayya, Ilayya, Sakina. Ilayya, Ilayya, Bonayya. The dungeon will be frightening, the darkness will be cold. No matter what happens, her cry she'll need to hold. Their slaps and their anger will be uncontrolled. Ilayya, Ilayya, Sakina. Ilayya, Ilayya, Bonayya. Ilayya, Ilayya, Sakina. Ilayya, Ilayya, Bonayya. Then one day in your dream you'll hug me once again. That will be the end of your suffering, your lament. Sakina, my baby, then we will meet again. Ilayya, Ilayya, Sakina. Ilayya, Ilayya, Bonayya. Ilayya, Ilayya, Sakina. Ilayya, Ilayya, Bonayya. Salawat.
Thank you, Brother Muhammad Ibrahim, for your salam. Let's have one loud salawat. Allah. Next, inshallah, we'll have Brother Wasi Rizvi come forward to recite a salam. Let's have one salawat for Wasi. Allah.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات. Can I have another loud salawat? Allahumma. देखा जब बाप का लाशा तो सकीना रोए. देखा जब बाप का लाशा तो सकीना रोए. शिमर ने मारा जो दर्रा, शिमर ने मारा जो दर्रा तो सकीना रोए. देखा जब बाप का लाशा तो सकीना रोए. ना मिला पानी उसे आग बुझाने के लिए, ना मिला पानी उसे आग बुझाने के लिए. जल गया भाई का झूला, जल गया भाई का झूला तो सकीना रोए. देखा जब बाप का लाशा तो सकीना रोए. देखा जब बाप का लाशा तो सकीना रोए. ओढ़ कर सर पर दाम, कान में दुर पहने हुए. ओढ़ कर सर पर दाम, कान में दुर पहने हुए. सामने आई जो रमला, सामने आई जो रमला तो सकीना रोए. देखा जब बाप का लाशा तो सकीना रोए. देखा जब बाप का लाशा तो सकीना रोए. मार कर सैयद मजलूम के होठों पे छड़ी, मार कर सैयद मजलूम के होठों पे छड़ी. जब हंसा के मैं कूफा जब हंसा कि मैं कूफा तो सकीना रोए देखा जब बाप का लाशा तो सकीना रोए चाहती थी कि वो ले आए उसे खैमे में और चाहती थी कि वो ले आए उसे खैमे में बाप का लाशा ना उठा बाप का लाशा ना उठा तो सकीना रोई देखा जब बाप का लाशा तो सकीना रोई शिमर ने मारा जो दुर्रा शिमर ने मारा जो दुर्रा तो सकीना रोए देखा जब बाप का लाशा तो सकीना रोए सलवात
Allahumma salli ala. Thank you, Brother Wasi Rizvi, for your salam. Let's have one loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala. Inshallah, for these next 2 nights, we will be having Sheikh Rastani joining us to address the Majlis. Sheikh Mahdi Rastani was born and raised in the United States. After finishing high school, he joined the Islamic Seminary of Qom and completed 6 years of introductory and intermediate studies at Shahidain Islamic Seminary. These 6 years were devoted to building an understanding of different Islamic sciences, namely Arabic syntax and grammar, logic, Islamic theology, Islamic rulings and law, Islamic history, jurisprudence, and principles of jurisprudence. Afterwards, he continued his studies for another 3 years under the supervision of many scholars, including Ayatollah Sayyid Hashemi Shahrudi. Before I invite Sheikh Rastani to come forward, I would request all of you to please come forward to the front so that we can form a proper majlis etiquette. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala. At this time, I would like to invite Sheikh Rastani forward to address the majlis. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allah.
الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون الذي لا يدركه بعد الهمم ولا يناله غوص الفطن الذي ليس لصفته حد محدود ولا نعت موجود ولا وقت معدود ولا أجل ممدود أما بعد فقد قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله به بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم فالصالحات قانتات حافظات للغيب بما حفظ الله واللاتي تخافون نشوزهن فعظوهن واهجروهن في المضاجع واضربوهن فإن أطعنكم فلا تبغوا عليهن سبيلا إن الله كان عليا كبيرا صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات الله. For the love of our beloved Prophet and his beloved progeny, a second loud salawat. For the hastening and the return of our beloved 12th Imam, a third final loud salawat. It is an honor to be here with the dear brothers and sisters of the Idara-e-Jaferia community. The topic that we will be delving into tonight is titled Islamic Masculinity. The reality is the type of masculinity that we are exposed to within society, on social media and other places, typically falls under two main forms of masculinity. You have one form of masculinity where it portrays a young man who is very passive. He doesn't really have many goals in life. He's not very passionate about life. He goes with the flow. Whatever life brings along, he's fine with it. This is one form of masculinity, and many times this is shown as something that's praised. He's so chill, he's so relaxed, nothing gets his blood sugar or his blood pressure going. Then there's another type of masculinity that's also presented to us in different places, in different arenas of life, and that is the masculinity that is extremely aggressive. The rise of a character like Andrew Tate and his subsequent fall from fame is an absolute manifestation of this type of masculinity. The type where you're aggressive, the type where you fulfill your goals and you fulfill your dreams. And it's quite surprising to me and many others that someone like him and the rhetoric that he was putting out was accepted so much within our Muslim communities and amongst our younger men. You find on social media brothers who are very much seem to be religious individuals. When it came to him, they related a lot to the rhetoric that he was putting out. This was surprising for me personally, because when we look in the history of the Ahlulbayt, you have characters who are such great role models. You would assume that someone of his nature would never even come up in a discussion of masculinity, never even come up as a role model. But the reality in our community says otherwise, and the reality on social media tells us otherwise. Hence, it's important for us to take some time and understand, what does this masculinity look like from the Islamic perspective? In this rhetoric that someone like him was putting out and continues to put out, there were certain elements that Islam completely agrees with, like the idea of you following certain goals and being serious about life. And then there were elements that Islam completely disagreed with, the idea of you fulfilling your own desires and only looking for what is going to serve you in life. And therefore, it's important for us to take some time to see what is the type of masculinity that Islam portrays for us and discusses for us. And this topic, before I delve into it more, I have to make this disclaimer and this important point, that this is a topic that not only relates to our brothers, it also relates to our sisters. Because every one of our sisters at the first level has a brother, father, other relatives that are male. Beyond that, they will be in a position in their future where they have to find someone who is going to play this role in the household. Marriage is going to be a thing for them. Therefore, it's important for them to know who to look up to and who to disregard in this part of their journey. And in order to delve into this topic, we'll pose the following questions. Number one, what are the elements that play a role in making a man from an Islamic perspective? Number two, why should you as a Muslim youth, and in particular as a follower of Ahlulbayt, have high aspirations and important goals in life and not aim very low in life? Number three, how is a man supposed to protect himself and his family, and how is he going to be able to do this if he doesn't build emotional stability for himself from a very young age? Number four, what have the Ahlulbayt shared with us when it comes to the manners that a Muslim man is supposed to show and carry with himself in his day-to-day life? Number five, what is the one element that you find in men in general, and in particular in young men, that if it's not controlled from a young age, if it's not managed from a young age, can potentially ruin the life of this young man in the blink of an eye? And number six, and finally, which of the companions of the third Imam was there who encompassed and incorporated all of these characteristics all in one character? Tonight, inshallah, we'll delve into these 6 questions with a loud salawat ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Before getting into these elements, and this is of course a topic that I'm very passionate about, so you'll get me getting heated up on this topic. Before getting into this, many of these elements that we will discuss are elements that a Muslim female also needs to incorporate as well. But the reason why they've made it into this discussion on Islamic masculinity is because there are certain elements that though both genders need to have, sometimes when one gender doesn't have that element, it shows itself more. It looks even worse. So what we're discussing tonight is not just something that relates to our brothers, also relates to our sisters, most of the discussion in fact. But there are elements that if a Muslim man does not have, it shows itself and presents itself in a negative way far more than if a Muslim female did not have these characteristics. That is the perspective that we have going into this topic. Number one, the number one element that a Muslim man needs to have that gives him that masculinity that what we understand from the Ahlulbayt seemed like they wanted him to have is what? Is that number one and first and foremost, he has to be goal-oriented. He has to be able to set goals for himself in life, and then in the path of those goals, he has to build discipline so that when distractions come his way, short-term pleasures come his way, he can set those aside and move towards his goal. This is very important. This is what our average youth is lacking, and lacking heavily. He sets goals for himself, and then in the process of this goal, when there are distractions that come into the process, many of which would be haram distractions, sometimes even halal distractions, but they distract him from the goal that he has set for himself. He has to build the discipline, he has to have the maturity to understand, this is the goal that I set for myself. These things that happen on my way in reaching and fulfilling that goal, these are distractions. A man who's easily distracted from the goals that he sets in his life, this is not a masculine man. He's gonna lack. And as part of this, he has to make sure that he sets high goals for himself and he has lofty aspirations, not very low goals, low aiming. This is not what the Ahlulbayt wanted from us. The Ahlulbayt didn't want to raise a Muslim youth whose only goal in life is just to provide for his own family. Just providing for your own family is a goal for someone who's living in a country that's war-torn. For him, just providing for the family is a big goal. You're able to achieve that, you've achieved a lot, yes? But you live in a part of the world, economic opportunities are more than you can count. Then you talk to this 20-year-old and say, what's your plan for life? So inshallah, alhamdulillah, for now I'm doing this job, it pays the bills. Pays the bills was for someone who's growing up in a war-torn country. The aspirations that you have to have, the goals that you have to have in life need to be much higher. These goals sometimes, brothers and sisters, are religious goals. They're not always career-based. Sometimes they're religious goals. He's made a goal and a promise to himself, this haram habit, he wants to set it aside. Sometimes that's the goal. Sometimes the goal has to do with his career. Sometimes the goal has to do with the type of knowledge that he's going to gain. That knowledge sometimes can be Islamic knowledge. Sometimes it can be secular knowledge. We need both of them. Whatever the goal is that he sets for himself, he doesn't get distracted by the smallest thing. He's built the maturity and the discipline to look at a goal and say, I want to make my way there. I'm going to fall in the midst of this. I'm going to have shortcomings in the midst of this. But he doesn't get easily distracted. This is the number one element that a young man needs, especially in today's society. I always share this with our younger brothers and sisters. Say, you have to understand your place in society and in history. If you're growing up in this part of the world, you are a minority within a minority within a minority. You are a minority because you're Muslim, first and foremost. That automatically puts you into maybe less than 5% of the population, yes? Then beyond that, you're a minority because people look at you, they say you worship this turba that you put your head on, you worship this flag, you worship this person, that person, because you're a follower of Ahlulbayt, you're Shia. You're already a minority within a minority. Then beyond all of that, you're a minority from a third angle because you try to practice your faith. You're a minority within a minority within a minority. You have a very unique role to play. Don't live life as if you're just one of the millions of people who are living life. This non-Muslim 20-year-old, he can live life as if there's not much purpose behind it, because this is the only thing he was ever presented to him in his life. He doesn't come from a rich heritage like you do. He doesn't have these prophets and these imams like you do. He doesn't have this religious framework like you do. You have a different upbringing, and hence with that comes a different sense of responsibility. The level of responsibility that you carry is unlike the level of responsibility that the average youth in society takes on. Don't look at the other 30-year-olds in your society and say, well, this person is doing this, so I can do it too. He's coming from a different background. He doesn't have the role models you have. He doesn't have the Quran that you have. He doesn't have the Ahlulbayt that you have. The first element is for a person to be goal-oriented, for this young man to be goal-oriented. And in that process, he has to aim high. He cannot aim low. This is the first element. And as part of that, brothers and sisters, this is how he's going to build self-esteem. Every young man is looking for self-esteem. Every young man is looking for a sense of confidence. How do you build confidence in yourself? You don't build confidence in yourself by puffing up your chest, maybe adding some tattoos, yes, and getting that shiny car. And this is not how you build self-confidence. You build self-esteem by setting goals for yourself in life and then building your way towards fulfilling those goals with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how you build self-esteem. Then you grow up, everyone can look at you and say, you know what, he's not too important. But you know you're important. You know you have goals in life, and you've built a habit of fulfilling those goals. The self-esteem that this builds is different from anything else. This is different from having 100 tattoos. This is different from having your Zulfaqar chain. This is different from all of these things. It's a different level of self-esteem that comes with it. So the first element is being goal-oriented with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, building your way towards fulfilling that goal. Allow salawat, please. Element number 2, if he is following the path of Ahlulbayt, he also needs to be very careful and cautious about the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed him with. if he's a follower of Ahlulbayt, he doesn't take a blessing of God and ruin it. What blessing has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed the majority of us with? He's blessed us with this body. He's blessed us with our physical well-being. You don't take this blessing and ruin it. No, you take care of the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is part of the shukr that you do for the blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted you an intellect. He granted you arms. He granted you legs. He granted you these limbs. Why is it we see in our younger generation, it's such a common thing to ruin their physical well-being? You only get one body, and once things start to go south when it comes to your physical well-being, there's no more stopping it. You get one body. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with a big blessing. Your health is not always going to stay like this. Yes? The brothers who have a little bit whiter beards here, they'll tell you more about this. Yes? You have this blessing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has entrusted you with this blessing. Now you see, mashallah, every 15-year-old and 20-year-old and 25-year-old, he has to smoke. So why are you smoking? Sheikh, the stresses of life. Baba, you're not even married yet. You don't even know what stress is until you're married. Then after you get married, you don't even have kids yet. You don't know what stresses of life are like until you have kids. Sheikh, the ups and downs of life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed you with something. Take advantage of this blessing. He gave you this resource. Yes? Not a fan. Not a fan of the smoking. I'm not a fan of anything that takes away from your physical well-being. Sure, you don't have to have a six-pack. I'm not worried about that, yes? But you have to take care of yourself. This is element number 2. Let us move on to element number 3. A loud salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. One more loud salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Inshallah. A third with the loudest of your voices. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The third of those elements that builds a man from an Islamic perspective is that he will have to build a role of being able to provide for the family. That means when he's younger, it has to be instilled in him that he has this responsibility. This Western culture that we are seeing is becoming more and more prevalent within Muslim families now. Now this young man and this young sister, they're talking to each other, yes? Because they're thinking about marriage. Okay, wonderful. Then this young man turns to this young sister, okay, so how are you going to contribute to the financial growth of our family? I don't know, how are you going to contribute? This is your responsibility. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put this responsibility on your shoulders. Let our young men from a young age understand that's my responsibility. I have to put myself in a situation where when I'm at the right age and at the ripe age, I become so resourceful that I can provide. And I'm saying this to all of the young men here, every single one of you. This applies to our elders as well. Every single one of us. There's going to come a time where the cause of Islam and the cause of Ahlulbayt is going to need them. The cause of Islam and the cause of Ahlulbayt is going to need you. The only question is, have you made yourself a resourceful person in that moment? Yes? Look at what's happening today in the world. You think the situation that Muslims are in is a good situation? You think the situation that Muslims are in around the world is something that we can look at and even be slightly proud of? We can't. We can't. It's a miserable situation. My part in all of this, your part in all of this, how do I put myself in a situation where I can be resourceful? Not just for myself. That's for a war-torn country. You live in an area and in a world full of economic opportunities. You have to put yourself in a situation where you can be resourceful for yourself, for your family, and then beyond that, for your community. Then beyond that, for your school of thought. Then beyond that, for all Muslims. How do you think other minority faiths, how do they uplift their communities? This is how they do it. They have individuals who have taken on the responsibility to become resourceful. When something befalls their people, those resourceful individuals, they come, they uplift the community. In the Muslim community, this is unfortunately not even part of our culture. Like, we've learned some of the teachings of Ahlulbayt, so many of the other teachings of Ahlulbayt, we never even bother to look into. You have to become a resourceful individual. There's going to come a time where the role that you have to play is going to become very, very important. In today's world, you see what's happening in Gaza. With all the atrocities that are happening, yes? Let's say, for example, there's a financial need. Are there Muslims around the world that can support what's happening? That's a question we have to think about. Are there Muslims around the world who can financially pitch in? How come when this stuff happens to other minorities, there are people who come in, they pitch in, they take care of things, so on and so, because they've built a culture of, I have to play my role, I have to be resourceful. But this young Muslim man, and to a certain extent this Muslim young woman, she was taught, no, just take care of yourself. No, you have to become resourceful, so that when you become resourceful, when things happen to your people, you can be there to support one another. Islam is going to need you. Beyond that, the cause of Ahlulbayt is going to need you. The only question is whether you prepare for that situation. Elements number 3, he is going to have to provide. Element number 4, what makes a man a masculine man is that he has to be able to protect. To be able to protect his family, to be able to protect his community. But now there's a different type of protection that's needed. I want to go deeper into it, yes? Back in the day, the threat was usually physical. There's something moving in the middle of the night. What do? We send this young man to go check it out, yes? Today, it's about mental, emotional stability. A young man who's growing up, if he doesn't have emotional stability, he cannot become the rock for the family. He cannot become a means of support for his family, because he can't even take care of his own emotions. Sometimes you talk to people, one moment they're on cloud 9, the next moment depressed, the next moment super happy. And the Quran said, this is not what I want from you. The Quran said there are people, when good things happen to them, you know what they say? ذَهَبَ السَّيِّئَاتُ عَنِّي. You know what? Life is perfect now. I'm never going to have any difficulties anymore. It's like on cloud 9. When something bad happens to him, لَيَئُوسٌ كَفُورٌ. He loses all hope all of a sudden. What is this person lacking? Emotional stability. Yes? One moment he's super happy. The next moment he's super angry. This is not what Islam wanted from us. If you want to be a good husband, a good father, whatever role you're going to play later on, you have to be able to take care of your emotions. You have to be able to manage your emotions. There's a lot of ups and downs in life. If for every one of them you're going to get super happy, for every one of them you're going to get super sad, you're going to be a burden on your family, not a means of support for your family. Some households you go in, you can tell this woman is more of a support for the family than the man. The role that this man was supposed to play to be the rock for the family, this lady has to play a role, and it takes a heavy toll on her. Emotionally, it takes a heavy toll on her. Because every 2 seconds, she has to come calm him down. Every 2 seconds, she has to come and say, it's okay, don't worry, as if it's her son. It's a husband. Don't worry, it's okay, it's going to be fine. Emotional stability has become extremely crucial. And this issue of being able to manage my emotions is one of those things that if a young man doesn't take care of at a young age, he can ruin his whole life in the blink of an eye. All it takes is one moment of anger. All it takes is one moment of wrath for you to do something that you will regret for the next 40 years of your life. Go talk to people. Sometimes they're convicted, so on and so forth. Yes? They weren't people who were evil all the time. And no. You know what happened? He couldn't manage his emotions. Someone came and said something to him. He lost it. Yes? So angry, he went and, yes, grabbed this knife, grabbed this gun, whatever it is. I remember one community I visited, they were having a gathering for one of the other young men who had passed away in the community. Yes? And during that gathering, the gathering was happening inside of the masjid, yes? Outside, they were having their basketball games and so on and so forth. So there's another group of young men outside. In that basketball game, there was a foul called. This young man was so infuriated, so upset. He went in his car, grabbed a gun, came and shot one of the other players. Say, oh, this is such an evil person. This is what a lack of emotional stability does. It's just a moment. If you don't control it, it becomes a problem. I jokingly say, work on your akhlaq now, work on managing your anger from now, so that when you get married, the moment she says something, you don't turn into the Hulk. Some brothers, the moment they tell him one thing, all of a sudden, yes, he turns into the amazing Hulk. Yelling and this and that. People prepare for their marriage 2 months before the marriage. You have to start preparing for your marriage 10 years before the marriage. 15 years before the marriage. That's how you build emotional stability. Number 4 is that this person has emotional stability, and because he has emotional stability, he becomes a means of support for his family. Number 5, this one I will move on from very quickly. Hygiene. Hygiene. Do I have to say more? I don't think I have to say more about this one, yes? Let's move on to number 6. Number 6 of those elements, manners. Adab, manners. That's why the narration of our first Imam, Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. One more loud salawat, please. The narration of the first Imam said what? He said, La zinata kal adab. There's nothing that can make you look more beautiful, more adorned than adab. There are people, they don't come from a wealthy background, yes? They don't come from a very rich background. They don't come from a very well-known background. But the moment you sit and talk to this person, the way he walks and talks and carries himself, you feel like he comes from a very well-known family. Why? Because he has adab. He has manners. I know in today's society, what our young men are taught is the more profanity you use, the more seriously people will take you. The more swear words you use, the more appealing your character is. This is what we're taught. And the Ahlulbayt taught the exact opposite. The Ahlulbayt taught that the words that come out of your mouth are the difference between people looking up to you and people looking down at you. Have manners. Your manners can elevate wherever you are in life. Your manners can elevate where you are to where you want to be. Yes? This is why we come across this beautiful narration. We might have heard this narration before. It's a very beautiful one. The companion of the 6th Imam, his name is Sulaiman ibn Mahran. He came to the 6th Imam, Al-Imam As-Sadiq, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He says, دخلت على جعفر بن محمد وعنده نفر من الشيعة. I entered upon the 6th Imam and I saw a group of the Shia are around him. They are with him, yes? وهو يقول, and he was saying, معاشر الشيعة, the masses of Shia. This is a message to all of us. He said, معاشر الشيعة كونوا لنا زينا. Be a means of adornment for us. What does that mean? That means when people see you, they say, oh look, he's Shia. You think that's the reality of how things are now? No. It's the exact opposite. Today, in today's society, they find the one who doesn't care much about salat, they say, unfortunately, they say, this one's Shia. They find the one who doesn't care much about the recitation of Quran, they say, oh, he's Shia. Sometimes it's accusations, unfortunately sometimes it's true, depends, yes? The Imam said, Kunu lana zayna, wala takunu alayna shayna. Don't make it such people come and see you and then they say, you see, this is what these guys teach. Yes? I'll never forget. I remember posting something on social media once. It was about how Shias and Sunnis should not mock each other when it comes to their belief system. This one has this belief system, the other one has this belief system, yes? In the comments of the post, Shias and Sunnis were mocking each other. I said, what kind of adab is this? And you come from the heritage of Ahlulbayt. Where are your manners? You walk into a gathering, show your manners. You know how much Ahlulbayt talked about these manners? They said when you come into this gathering, you find this first spot that you can sit. You sit there, for example. They said when you come in and you say salam to someone, you're the first one who says salam to others. They said when you come in and you sit in this gathering, if others want to come and they can't find a place to sit, you're supposed to do what? Tafassahu fil majalis. Make some room for the other people who want to come and sit. They said when you came and shake hands with someone, what did they say about the Prophet? They said whenever he shook hands with somebody, he was never the one to pull his hands back first. They said when he sat in a gathering, he always looked at everyone the same amount. So when he came into a gathering, whatever they put in front of him, he appreciated. Even if it was a dry date. The manners that the Ahlulbayt spoke about, so many. And then you see this young man, he walks in. It's like, where are your manners? Where's your adab? And of those places where you have to show the greatest manners is when you are speaking to the opposite gender. Yes? Put your gaze down, put your eyes down. Have some manners. You're going to walk into a place, there might be other sisters, whatever. Say, Ya Allah, say something, manners. This is a big problem, unfortunately, in our younger generation. A severe lack of manners, where the Ahlulbayt talked about this a lot. They didn't talk about it a little. They talked about this a lot. This is the next element that builds the masculinity of this young man. And the last element, brothers and sisters, is his relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He cannot be a masculine man without a strong relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If he wants to be goal-oriented, what needs to drive this sense of being goal-oriented is his servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If he wants to have manners, what needs to drive that is what? His servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If he wants to have emotional stability, what needs to drive that? His servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't believe in this fake secular sense of masculinity, this red pill masculinity where it's all about you. No, none of this is about you. This is all about God created you, now He's expecting you to do certain things. And unless that relationship is a strong relationship, you will struggle in life. Sometimes you see these people, these celebrities, they put on this facade, yes? He's a very strong man. Eventually in life, life will break him. Why? Because he's not relying on a greater power. He thinks it's all coming from him. No, you will fail in life. Life is too difficult to go at it on your own. At the end of the day, what you have to fall back on is going to be your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are some of the elements that make up the masculinity of a man. And who was it amongst the companions of our beloved third Imam who had all of these and more? Of those was Ali al-Akbar, the son of Imam al-Hussein, the one who when he walked, he talked, he carried himself. His own father said, he reminded us of the prophets. Anytime Ali al-Akbar come into a gathering, change the whole gathering. You have role models like this. And then we struggle with building that masculinity that the Ahlulbayt wanted us to build. Ali al-Akbar had all of these characteristics. Firm when he needs to be firm. Soft and kind where he needs to be soft and kind. Yes? Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Sallallahu alayka ya Ibn Rasulullah. Let's dim the lights and inshallah take our hearts to where the caravan of the Ahlulbayt are moving during these days and nights. Let us take our hearts to the city of Sham, where our beloved Ahlulbayt, now this caravan has entered into the city of Sham. The narration says that for days they kept the caravan outside of the gates. And they did this to disrespect these women and children who have gone through so many calamities, gone through so many difficulties. They've gone through so many masa'ib. Maybe some of these women and children, they're still wondering, where is our Uncle Abbas? Where is Ali al-Akbar? Maybe some of these children are still wondering, where is Ali al-Asghar? Where is the 6-month-old we used to play with? They kept the Ahlulbayt outside of the gates for multiple days until when they finally entered into the city of Sham, they were paraded in the city of Sham. And they brought them into the palace of the Yazid, of Mal'un Yazid. And the narration says the 4th Imam got up to give his khutbah. And as much as he asked for permission to go and stand on the mimbar, the Mal'un wouldn't give him permission. People turned to Yazid, they said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, give him permission to go and stand. He's been defeated in war, he's lost his loved ones, let him go and stand and speak. And Yazid said, you don't know this family. This family, no matter what you do, they will never be defeated. And their tongues are like the tongues of Ali ibn Abi Talib. If I give him permission to speak, he will unravel everything that I have done. Eventually, Imam al-Sajjad made his way up onto the mimbar. And he said lines that were full of pride and they were full of pain as well. He said, Ayyuhan nas, man arafani faqad arafani. O people, those of you who know me, you know me. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَعْرِفْنِي. If you don't know me, فَأَنَا ابْنُ مَكَّةَ وَزَمْزَمَ وَصَفَا. I am the son of Mecca and Zamzam and Safa. I am the son of the one who was with the Prophet everywhere he went. I am the one who is the son of the person who defended the Prophet everywhere he went. And then the narration says the Imam moved on to some of these lines. He said, what did you do to our family in the plains of Karbala? Yes? He said, Anabnu, I am the son of the one who his harem was disrespected in the plains of Karbala. What was Imam al-Sajjad talking about? Imam al-Sajjad was talking about those moments where Imam al-Hussein was martyred and all of a sudden the army began to make its way towards the tents, yes? Towards the khiyam. And these women and children were running in every direction and these tents were all set on fire. And some of these children even had their clothing caught on fire in those moments. He continued, he said, I am the one who you killed his father without giving him water on the 10th of Muharram. What is Imam al-Sajjad talking about? He's talking about those final moments when Hussein stood there and called out, Hal min nasirin yansuruna? Is there anybody else left to help us? Hal min dhabbin yadhubbu an harami Rasulillah? Is there anyone to come and protect the family of the Prophet? And all that was there was an ocean of an army in front of Hussein and the bodies of these shuhada. And the narration says the only call that Hussein heard in those moments was the call of the 6-month-old who had been crying for multiple days, and now he was crying even more. Imam al-Sajjad continued, he said, I am the son of the one who you all came and shed the blood of his family. Who is Imam al-Sajjad referring to? Maybe he's referring to Ali al-Akbar, yes? Those moments where Ali al-Akbar made his way to the tent of Imam al-Hussein. And Imam al-Hussein's eyes met the eyes of Ali al-Akbar. I swear this was one of the most painful moments for Abu Abdullah on the 10th of Muharram, yes? This is one of those moments, Hussein, he held back the crying in those moments, but the moment he gave Ali al-Akbar permission to go, then his tears started to flow from his face because he saw this son of his that represents every good akhlaq now entering into the battlefield. The narration says Hussein gave him permission quickly. My son Ali, go quickly, don't burn my heart like this. Don't stand in front of me and bring pain to my heart like this. Ali al-Akbar made his way away from the tent, and then the narration says what? It says Hussein came to the front of the tent. He was watching his son making his way to the battlefield. He raised his hands. He spoke of his pain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, oh Allah, Allahumma ashhad, you bear witness, because now I'm sending the one who used to walk and talk just like the Prophet. And anytime we miss the Prophet, we used to look at Ali al-Akbar. The Maqatil say, then the tears started to flow on the eyes and on the face of Imam al-Hussein. And all he could do was he called out to the other side. He said, Ya Umar ibn Sa'ad, qata'allahu rahimak, kama qata'ata rahimi. May Allah have you you experience this pain the way I am experiencing this pain. What could Hussein do in these moments? All he did, فَنَظَرَ إِلَيْهِ نَظْرَةَ آيِسٍ مِّنْهِ. He looked at Ali al-Akbar with all of the sadness in his eyes, no more hope in his eyes, because he knows moments from now he'll be pulling the body of Ali al-Akbar on the ground, and he'll kept saying, Ya Ali, ala dunya ba'daka al-afa. Oh Ali, after you I don't want to be alive anymore, as he carries the body of Ali al-Akbar all the way to the back of the tents. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. Let us take a moment to send our salams to our beloved Imam in the plains of Karbala. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. Everyone. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. رحم الله من قرأ سورة الفاتحة مع الصلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ماتم حسين.
Say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah Aliyan waliyullah Wasiyur Rasulillah Wasiyur Rasulillah La ilaha Muhammadur Rasulullah Aliyan waliyullah Wasiyur Rasulillah Wasiyur Rasulillah. Said our Mawla unto Walid, cannot give bay'ah to Yazid. Said our Mawla unto Walid, cannot give bay'ah to Yazid. He is the lowest of the low. We were the angels come and go. He is the lowest of the low. We were the angels come and go. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Aliyun waliyullah, wasiyur Rasulillah, wasiyur Rasulillah. Oh my helpers, oh my kin, leaving me will bring no sin. Oh my helpers, oh my kin, leaving me will bring no sin. They said, Mawla, we are few, but we'll live and die for you. They said, Mawla, we are few, but we'll live and die for you. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Aliyun waliyullah, wasiyur Rasulillah, wasiyur Rasulillah. When Mawla said, oh my son, Akbar, your moment has come. When Mawla said, oh my son, Akbar, your moment has come. Let your faith and courage show. Let these coward heathens know. Let your faith and courage show. Let these coward heathens know. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Aliyun waliyullah, wasiyur Rasulillah, wasiyur Rasulillah. Oh my lions of Jafar, oh my Qasim and Asghar. Oh my lions of Jafar, oh my Qasim and Asghar. If not for your martyrdom, this battle would not be won. If not for your martyrdom, this battle would not be won. Ya ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Aliyun waliyullah, wasiyur Rasulillah, wasiyur Rasulillah. Oh, will you come back, Abbas? There is no one crying Pyas. Oh, will you come back, Abbas? There is no one crying Pyas. In this eerie land unknown, are you leaving us alone? In this eerie land unknown, are you leaving us alone? La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Aliyun waliyullah, wasiyur Rasulillah, wasiyur Rasulillah. See this dagger on my neck, this is my moment of death. See this dagger on my neck, this is my moment of death. Hear my Shia far away, hear it, hear your Mawla say. Hear my Shia far away, hear it, hear your Mawla say. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Aliyun waliyullah, wasiyur Rasulillah, wasiyur Rasulillah. With every beat, every breath, oh Allah, until my death. With every beat, every breath, oh Allah, until my death. If I die old or young, keep this kalima on my tongue. If I die old or young, keep this kalima on my tongue. La ilaha illallah, علي ولي الله وسي رسول الله وسي رسول الله. Same.
Do you hear إذن بقضائح on the lips of Hussein? Do you hear إذن بقضائح on the lips of Hussein?
Do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein? Do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein?
When he says تقدم يا علي,
When he says تقدم يا علي,
when he says تقدم يا علي, enter the battlefield.
do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein? Do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein?
As he hears the call of Al-Qasim,
As he hears the call of Al-Qasim,
as he hears the call of Al-Qasim, Ya Ammu adrikni.
do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein? Do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein?
When he hears the cries of Al-Atash,
When he hears the cries of Al-Atash,
when he hears the cries of Al-Atash from the camps of Ahl Haram,
do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein? Do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein?
when he runs toward Abbas Jari,
When he runs toward Abbas Jari,
when he runs toward Abbas Jari, as he sees the standard fall.
do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein? Do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein?
As he takes the slaughtered body of, as he takes,
The slaughtered body of,
as he takes the slaughtered body of Asghar to Rubab.
do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein? Do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein?
When he hears Sakina bewailing,
When he hears Sakina bewailing,
when he hears Sakina bewailing, do not leave us, Baba.
do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein? Do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein?
As he hears the pleading of Zainab,
As he hears the pleading of Zainab,
as he hears the pleading of Zainab, Mahlan yabna Zahra.
do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Hussein? Do you hear إذن
as he feels the dagger on his neck,
as he feels the dagger on his neck,
as he feels the dagger on his neck, and says, Inna lillah.
do you hear Ridan biqada'ihi on the lips of Aqa Hussein? Do you hear Ridan biqada'ihi on the lips of Aqa Hussein?
Do you hear إذن بقضائه on the lips of Aqa Hussein? Ya Hussein,
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving, Ali Akbar? You are leaving to go and meet your Lord, but I know that your chest will be pierced by the sword. For the sake of Allah, my tears I will hold. As you go to the battlefield, look back at me for one last time. Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar,
Why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar?
how can a father let you leave his sight? Your face like Muhammad shining so bright. Never have I felt pain of this height. As you seek my permission to let you go for the final time. Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? From a newborn to the man you are today, on Muhammad's path you've never gone astray. Within you is a part of Hussein. You took my eyesight with you and you left this world with a broken chest. Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar,
Why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar?
I have been carrying bodies all day. Now my back is broken, I can't keep it straight. Oh my son, I am tired and afraid. When you fall down on the hot sands, I won't be able to carry you. Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? Oh Ali Akbar, oh Ali Akbar, why are you leaving me, Ali Akbar? Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein.
صلى على توجه زيارة. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن السيد الوصيين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين. السلام عليكم يا سائر الشهداء كربلاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء. السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء. السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس. السلام عليك يا أنيس النفوس. السلام عليك يا مدفون بأرض طوس راضي بالقدر والقضاء علي بن موسى الرضا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي صاحب العصر والزمان. الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان وإمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
All the young ones come and give our salams to our alim who's in the back there. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll be starting at 6 o'clock, so please kindly be on time so we can have the majlis be on time.